Hey guys, thank you very much for coming to this is our third installment of the Healthy Lifestyle workshops. First one was on nutrition, discussed kind of the fundamentals of nutrition. Second one was, what was the second one? Second one was, Casey, biosignature modulation. Understanding how what you eat affects your body type. And then this one is more kind of a hands-on nuts and bolts approach. We're gonna talk about pre and post therapies to make you feel better, make you perform a little bit better. We're gonna cover muscles and myofascial preparation, dynamic flexibility, and then post-workout, we're gonna look at the best ways to get you prepared and ready to go and do it again tomorrow. So, in getting ready for this, the Body Balance Challenge, most of you people have learned and started new programs, new routines that will hopefully continue on. And that's exactly the point of what the Body Balance Challenge was. We wanted to help you not only make it a weight loss program, but we want to help you change your lifestyle. So little pieces at a time, or things that are being connected to make your life more continuous with what your goals are. So when I was getting ready for putting together the pre and post round routines, I thought to myself, some of a pre and post round routine is even getting it started. Sometimes that's the hardest part. So I wanted to talk a little bit at least on how to generate the motivation sometimes to even get started, because the best, pro athletes, baseball players, they play 120 games a year. They need things to still motivate themselves, and they're going to go play in front of thousands of people. So if we can have little strategies that will help you become better and do more of what you want to do, then this whole program is a success. So first we make our habits, and then our habits make us. So that's what we're trying to achieve with the Body Balance Challenge, and having it be performance-based, having it be weight loss-based, having it be consistency-based. That's the way to start forming habits that we're looking for. So like I said before, step one is finding the motivation to even get this started. So how do you overcome your lack of motivation? I have a little thing that makes me snicker every time I see it. And this reminds me exactly what we're talking about.
You want me. You know you want me. I am so soft, so comfy.
I'm comfy too, baby.
No, wait.
Hey, whoa,
You don't need to run. You had a salad last night.
Yeah, a salad.
So it's so prevalent that even Nike knows that they need to make a commercial about it. And anybody who has tried to prepare for this knows that exists. So what we wanted to do is just give you a couple quick tips on how to get the whole thing started. You can't have a pre-exercise routine if you don't get out there and exercise. So how do you overcome that lack of motivation? Establish a routine. And the basis for that, of starting a routine, is make your first step so easy that it's ridiculous to say no to. The simplest thing, and have that be your starting point. It isn't how, as you're getting ready, it isn't how much you're going to squat that day. It isn't how far you're going to run. It isn't the biggest hill that you need to be thinking about. That makes it difficult to get started. Think about the easiest thing. For me, I love mountain biking. So even though I love it, I'm sitting there in the middle of the afternoon, and if you think about the hill that's in your bike ride, you're never going to get it. You're never going to go out and get it started. So once you start that routine, and once you are setting that in motion, you want your first thing to lead in to the second thing, to lead into the third thing, until there's enough momentum that you're actually doing what your goal is, what you're trying to get. And the first thing that you need to do with is a reminder, and that's like a traffic light. So it trains you into what a response is. So a traffic light comes, you pay attention to it. That symbolizes the start of a movement or a pattern. That goes into routine, and that's actually what you do. So if the first part is the reminder, that's maybe, okay, the light turns green. Okay, that starts it. Now I go into my routine, which is I start to drive forward. And reward is I'm getting closer to what I'm trying to get to. So in terms of exercise, or in terms of getting over your humps and trying to maintain this yourself, for me, those 3 hours are the reminder. When I first get started trying to get ready, the reminder for me is I pick up my shoes, mountain bike shoes. They're dirty and they're dusty. First thing I do is I usually go out and slam them outside. Hardly ever do it inside. So as soon as I smell that dirt, it's game on. I understand, and now that's close enough to me that I can make the rest of my routine happen. That feeds into me getting dressed, the routine portion of it. And I never stop in the middle. You'll never find me sitting in my house with my clothes on, my shoes on, my Camelback loaded up, and then not going. It's already past that. The hard part is getting the shoes. Once you're there, if you can make a routine of it, it goes. That makes sense to everybody? So the ride is what we're all looking for, and hopefully everyone has picked something that they like in terms of exercise, that's something that they actually get rewarded for, both in terms of health and fun. If you like hiking, the Body Balance Challenge should prepare you to be able to hike better, to do things better. So we're looking to have you go out and find things that can be your own motivation, be in charge of your own fitness. Take care of that. Have us be helpers. We want to help you achieve your success, but it becomes better when you own it yourself. So that's getting into the next topic. So Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And that really worked for me. That's, if you have the habit of coming in and doing something that's not your goal, you can change it with one simple task. So you've got dressed, you're out the door. Now, how do we prepare for our exercise? What do we do? What do we normally do? Getting ready to work out. Get in the gym, we're here. Yeah, everybody does it. Walk in, get this going, start moving around. You've seen it, you do it. Stretching the quads. Google these pictures, there's 1,000 pictures for stretching. Just easy as heck to find. Stretching. Throw your leg up on a bench. You go out to the golf course, walk out, you put your bag down, put a ball down, chunk it. What do? Oh, I'm obviously not warmed up yet. I need to get going. There's something wrong here because I just sucked. So there's an innate feeling that you need to prepare for something, but how do we do it? There's a tree, let's stretch our calves. Football players, same thing, you've seen this all the time. You walk out, you grab a chair, you throw that Most of us don't do that. Most of us don't do that. Yeah, that's finished product. That's after the exercise. So why do we do it? It's simple, feels good, it's a habit, help us warm up, prevent injury. Dogs do it, right? Seemingly stretching is everywhere. Then why don't the best athletes in the world do it? Why don't the Kenyans do it? They're marathon runners. Why don't they stretch? And actually, your dog doesn't stretch either. What your dog does is it moves. It prepares itself for what it's trying to do. It doesn't do a downward dog for 5 minutes. It does a downward dog and continues to move into another position. It's preparing its body for what dogs do. That. So they're always ready to move, always ready to go on a moment's notice. The mailman freaking comes in the front window, they gotta be ready to jump up and scream at them at the top of their lungs, all times. So the traditional form of stretching, finding a terminal range of motion, boom, holding it, extending that muscle from both ends, may not be our best bet. Probably is not our best bet. Certainly is not our best bet. 2005 study in the Journal of Sports Medicine found that stretching before exercise has no effect on injury prevention and may actually increase injury. That was based on an Army study. They had 1,000 Army people, 500 did stretches before, 500 did stretches after. There was no difference between injuries, and there was actually higher injuries on the people that did their warm-up as stretching. In terms of what we're talking about, you know, a traditional static stretch. Journal of Strength and Conditioning found that you actually are less stable and weaker after you stretch. So it reduces your strength between 5 and 8%. Some studies say up to 11%. There's a lot of science on this. We've been working on it for a long time. I remember when Mark and I were first at the Q Sports Club, what, 15 years ago? Someone came in and goes, you shouldn't stretch before you work out. I'm like, what? That's bullshit. No way. Can't do it. Doesn't make any sense. But as more things come along, your mind wraps around the idea of what actually is going on. To put it into cold facts, an Australian group had sprinters. And they had two groups. They tested sprinters with stretches before and after. And in all cases, static stretching before a sprint increased sprint times. For the record, increasing sprint times is not good when you're sprinting. Try and get that down, right? So it's not necessarily performance-based. If you're a gymnast and you need to be able to hug your